to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Monday, November 18th. Back in black. Ow! Apparently. Detroit.
Yeah.
Says what's up.
What's up?
That's the 2 for 2 running backs in Detroit. I got you.
Yeah, that's what it is. And man, are those 2 running backs good and consistent and always get theirs no matter what.
Detroit, the Lions, are in another class. And I mean that across the entire NFL, not just the NFC. It's across the entire NFL. They are executing offensively, defensively on such a high level on a consistent basis. That's what a great team is to me. It's not, like the Chiefs have been amazing at winning one-score games, and it's not a surprise. They're experienced. They have Patrick Mahomes. You get in a one-score game, you lose to the Chiefs. But they're in a lot of one-score games, and these games have not been pure, what did you say, demolishing?
Yes. Yeah.
But the Lions, like I was joking about 5 minutes into the game, I should have mortgaged my house, taken every dime that we had, and just betted on the Lions to cover the spread against Jacksonville.
Yeah, nothing has ever surprised us in the NFL before. That's definitely a smart.
Well, I didn't do that, but I'm just saying
good.
of all the things that we think we know, that one we know right now.
Yeah, when you look at the NFL, you go, okay, who are the best teams? The ones that come to mind for me are Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, and none of them are playing the ball that the Lions are. I mean, I don't know how you stop their offensive line and running backs right now, and then when you've got Goff, completing 75% of his passes easily to Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just
I don't know what got into them yesterday.
Oh, it was glorious.
I mean, I might survive this week in League of Record, but what my opponent did in the last-minute tinkering was it was unbelievable.
It was the thing of legend.
My opponent is not a great team, and they were projected for like half my points. In the last 5 minutes before the games began, they added Jared Goff to be their quarterback, MVS in the flex, who I dropped. You're welcome. You mocked me, Jason.
So good.
Elijah Moore, of all people, scored a touchdown.
Tried to tell you.
And that's fantasy football. So it's a wild week, and that's what today's all about. We'll react to it. We've got ready to roll on the show today, and one more game tonight. We get to see Nico Collins back in action. We get to see if the moon glistens through the stadium there in Dallas.
We know where it is. Oh, you want the
We got the moon, and we'll see if Dallas can survive with Cooper Rush, and that'll be tonight. But then we'll be 3 weeks left before the playoffs. So
before the fantasy playoffs.
Playoffs, yeah. And we'll begin with what we always begin Mondays with, your submissions to the ever-sophisticated Monday Punday. We'll start with the good. Jason, why don't you kick it off?
Oh, okay, well.
It's your favorite guy.
It's Brees, hallelujah.
Jawan Winnings.
And famous Winston.
Oh, how about Taysom Thrill?
Okay, I'm taking this one. Can you smell what the Brock is cooking?
Yes. And some Brock and roll.
Yeah.
Oh, Super Cup.
Bo Namath?
Yeah, I like that one. That's my favorite one.
Namath?
Bo Namath.
Okay.
All right.
Pro Knicks. I mean, he looked good.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs.
Jerry Beauty.
Amon-Ra St. Touchdown?
And shout out to the kicker leagues out there, the Wizard of Boz.
Okay, get out of here. They weren't all good. You had Travis Smelsey out there.
Oops, I craft my pants.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oops, I craft my pants.
And Tucker Craft.
Yeah.
D-Boo Samuel.
Or this guy, Rusty Wilson.
Yes, and Jonathan Taylor.
Barely McLaurin.
Yeah.
Cedric Nillman?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And shout out Sean Payton. It's Froderick Esame.
Yeah, and Mark Scamdrews.
And finally, Matt Eberfluser.
I like it.
Oh, my gosh. Bears fans. What's that? That's they got the Hail Mary, and now they got the block kick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it all started with that Hail Mary, though.
Oh, they haven't recovered. They're
reeling.
still reeling from that.
I mean,
if you listen to commentators, I know it's
the
funny.
The evidence says maybe they're right.
We mocked as Cardinals fans, and we were watching the Cardinals game, which was the game after that Hail Mary loss for the Bears. And the Bears, had been on fire, and they should have been a great team. That's when things started going wrong for them. But the entire game, while the Cardinals are just crushing the Bears, the commentators are just saying they're not recovered from this Hail Mary. And it's like, come on. These professional NFL players are out here not thinking about last week's Hail Mary pass. That's not what's going on. But then you got to start wondering because they still haven't recovered.
You think it's on repeat in the locker room?
Yeah, they're just showing it.
It just says, don't let this happen again. All right, if you want to
forget about this play, and then they just keep showing it.
If you want to submit your Monday Punday entries, by the way, a lot more positive ones this week.
Which, for you, it was not trending.
The morning was boring.
Yes.
The morning was boring, but you can submit them on Instagram at Fantasy Footballers, on X at the FF Ballers every Sunday night. Let's move on.
Welcome to Ready to Roll, presented by Nissan.
All right, today on Ready to Roll, I think this is a nice follow-up to our playoff primer episode of last week. We wanted to take a quick look, and I always think this is interesting, taking an inventory of it, what prominent players are about to be 2025 free agents, which – it's great for Dynasty to know which players are about to head into free agency. It's good to know what players are about to go into extension territory. But I think it's also interesting for redraft purposes to know what players are highly incentivized down the stretch. We talk about incentives when it comes to, are these teams playing for the playoffs? Are they in the mix, right? You want competitive teams down the stretch. I also want players that are playing for that next bag, that next paycheck. To me, that's really relevant in terms of certain players down the stretch.
It's huge. And these are human beings. I mean, you could say whatever you want about, they're going to go out there and do their job, but their job is to get another contract. Like, that is their job, is to get another contract, and they're working with their agents. They're figuring things out. They don't know where they're playing or if they're playing football next year, and so they've got the next few weeks to prove to 32 general managers that they are worth another bag of money.
Yeah, no question. And so it's valuable for Dynasty. It's valuable for redraft. And when we look at quarterbacks, just to be aware, Sam Darnold, this is a contract year for Sam Darnold. He'll be a free agent. He is playing very well, mostly. Obviously winning ball games and has an opportunity to be a starter in this league. And you've also got the 49ers sitting at 5-5. Brock Purdy's eligible for an extension.
Oh, man, he needs to get an extension.
He's going to get
for sure
so much money.
And Geno Smith as well will be eligible for an extension, and he's 34 years old. That's something in the offseason where, like, hey, when is this team going to move on? Are they going to stick with Geno Smith?
I think they roll with Geno.
At running back, though, more relevant here, free agents. I'm just going to read you some big names going into next year. James Conner, eligible for an extension. Or, I'm sorry, a free agent next year. Aaron Jones. Najee Harris, still just 26 years old. Jaylen Warren, so the backfield in Pittsburgh. Javonte Williams, who was released by a lot of people. And then
Sean.
What was your exact quote? I believe it was, I hate Sean Payton.
I mean, those things that we've said before.
I believe you said it yesterday while we were eating lunch.
And, dude, what? What?
So Javonte at 24 years old, probably a committee back in his future. But Nick Chubb will be a free agent. Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins, the year he's having in Los Angeles. And then your boy Rico Dowdle,
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Mason are relevant names. And then extensions could be out there for Kyron, for James Cook, for Kenneth Walker, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, and Isaiah Pacheco. And those extensions, that's like your dynasty insurance. That's like if these teams commit to these players, which we saw some of these in the offseason at running back, some commitments. That's always a big time, pat on the butt in terms of having somebody valuable in your lineup. We saw it last offseason with Raheem Mostert. So those are, and then you look at the backups. If these players leave, Trey Benson could have a shot in Arizona. Isaac Guerrero could become the next man up in San Francisco. Will Shipley in Philly.
Jordan Mason's who I think is kind of the most sneaky interesting player in this list of did he play his way into a starting job for somebody? Because he's in the Shanahan system where we see tons of guys, just nobodies, which he's a somebody now, but he didn't have all the glitz and the glamour of a highly drafted recruit, but he played really, really well in those first few weeks. So I'm where do you guys stand with Jordan Mason? Do you feel like he'll get a decent contract to come back and be the backup for the 49ers, or you think that he's going to go get himself a starting job?
I think probably neither of those. If I had to guess, with
neither.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's a middle. There's a middle where you're not a starter and you're not coming back as a backup, and it's I'm going to go compliment in Cincinnati or Las Vegas with the Raiders, or who knows where that next place is. Maybe it's Miami with Achane, right? Because Mostert's old and maybe done, and so. Yeah, it could be that middle ground.
That's more what I think. I think he's going to go out and get a bag of money. I doubt that they pay a lot of money for Mason there when they have Guerrero. I don't know Elijah Mitchell's contract situation, but Mason, just like all running backs, for the Shanahan system, it's not about the person. It's like the system wins.
Yeah, he could be a Devin Singletary offseason. I mean, it could be something like that.
I think the player, to speak to what you were talking about, Andy, these guys who really have to put it on film for the rest of this season and have to go produce money for next year, the one that sticks out to me is Najee.
Yeah, that one, because he's 26. This is the next contract.
Yeah, he's 26. They didn't pick up the fifth-year option. This is him for either the Steelers, who have no running back, really under contract, or for the free agent market. If I'm a GM and I'm looking at this crop of, free agents, okay, maybe you think James Conner or Aaron Jones is better, but they're 30-year-old running backs. You're not going to want to go pay him. So he is really the guy that, the next little while, and he has been a second half of the season.
He's played well already.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about 6 weeks in a row where he hasn't not had 10 fantasy points for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the line that you've determined. Wide receiver, free agents. We know T. Higgins is hitting the market. Amari Cooper will be a free agent at 30. Chris Godwin, after the injury, that one's going to be tough. Seeing his injury may be the way he's back on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Which could be good.
I think the most realistic output or outcome for Godwin is a 1 or a 2 year recovery deal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Stephon Diggs, we'll see if his career's toast.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Hopkins, that one's rough. He's going to be 33 next year. Not a lot of. Him and Keenan Allen seem like this is the final countdown. But, Hollywood Brown's a free agent once again, and you've got extensions like Jamar Chase, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, all 25 and under, all eligible for the next big contract to eliminate them from the free agent market the following year. And we'll see what happens. Do they cut Deebo Samuel with Ayuk back and Pearsall and Jennings? Devontae Adams is getting older. Could he be cut? Those are some names that are relevant.
T. Higgins is – last night is exactly the reason why T. Higgins is just – it's an impossible situation of, this player can't get on the field seemingly.
Stay on the field health-wise?
Yeah, can't stay on the field. But when he's on the field, your offense is awesome, and T. Higgins is a great player.
It made me so sad to hear how the broadcast talked about Joe Burrow's relationship with Higgins. Did you hear this?
I did.
Because it was just like Joe Burrow talked about that Higgins was like one of his favorite teammates of all time. They get along, they hang out off the field, they're on the same page on the field. It just made me –
That made you sad.
it made me tremendously sad because he's out. That makes me sad.
Like as in leaving the
when you
Bengals.
hear about that kind of a relationship between a wide receiver and a quarterback, it's devastating to have them lose that rapport and have Higgins go find that. I mean, a lot of the times Higgins is in that Galladay zone, right, where you could go try to be the number one somewhere else, dealing with injuries. You're the number one on some team that maybe doesn't have a quarterback. Right now you've got one of the best quarterbacks in football that you already have a great relationship with. To me, it made me sad for T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, mad at the Bengals for not making the commitment.
And we
because
know
this team is a Super Bowl. They're a Super Bowl threat every time they run Burrow, Higgins, Chase out there on offense, even in years that things go wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice spin for your feelings, but we know as a Chase manager that you were really just upset that he was buddies with T. Because I could see right through
Chase
it,
is
Andy.
better with T.
No, he really is. The whole offense is better with T. And I T is – I think he's a great wide receiver, but I don't know that he's a one.
He benefits from Chase too, right? I mean, he benefits from Chase on the other side.
He does. Where I would love for him to go, and I think it would be perfect this offseason to support an incoming top-end rookie quarterback. You pair him with Malik Neighbors, the other Jamar Chase, and you put him in New York. That is a perfect landing spot to me.
I'm really unhappy with you because I wanted you to put him on Arizona.
Oh, hey,
Because
heck yeah, man.
Opposite of Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
I thought there was anti-T.
I know. Andy's always been anti-T. So
I am pro-T wide receiver 2. I'm anti-T wide receiver 1 / injured reserve.
Sure.
But that's part of it. That's part of his story.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. Where are you with T. Higgins? Is every time he gives you a good game, are you back in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're in.
Yeah.
By the way, George Kittle eligible for an extension. Trey McBride going to get paid, 25 years old. McBride's been arguably, him and Bowers, Kittle, these are the cream of the crop. Cade Otton,
dude,
that one's interesting because he's really emerged as a top-tier tight end.
Cade Otton is right place, right time.
Yeah.
Man, this is I think Cade Otton's a good player, but this is
funnel some of that cash to Godwin and Evans.
This feels like Austin Hooper circa Atlanta Falcons. Right place, right time to just have to be the number one guy and carry the offense, and then goes and gets this huge bag of money from the Cleveland Browns. And now the only thing that we think of Austin Hooper is, wait, that's not Hunter Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time he caught a pass yesterday, I was like, come on, that's not Hunter Henry. All right, thanks again to our sponsor, Nissan, and the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks. Take on your city and rain or shine with the bold new Nissan Kicks. Intelligent all-wheel drive. Head over to nissanusa.com to learn more. Intelligent all-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
News and notes from around the league. Presented by USAA Insurance.
We got news this weekend that CeeDee Lamb was added to the injury report on Saturday, not with the AC joint injury, but with a back injury that cropped up during practice, happened in 7-on-7s, and Mike McCarthy said it's, quote, not of high concern.
So
I don't know if that means it's some concern.
That should mean it's of some concern. He didn't say it's of no concern.
Yeah, give me a sentence without the word not. And it is of blank concern, Mr. McCarthy.
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that he was literally going to have to put the team on his back to give them a shot the rest of the way.
No, it's injured.
You don't want a sore back. We'll see what happens tonight. Daniel Jones hits the bench. Tommy DeVito.
Yes.
Tommy DeVito.
Now,
Tommy Cutlets is back, baby.
A lot of people out there, including us, like we had been talking about, grab Drew Lock, stash Drew Lock. We knew 2 weeks ago, we knew before the season that at some point the contract situation would happen for Daniel Jones where they don't want to guarantee in case of injury and they're not a good enough team headed towards the playoffs. But the team made the right decision and said, if we're benching Daniel Jones, we're going after that top pick. Drew Lock is not going to help get that. Tommy DeVito, Danny DeVito lead our team to the #1 pick in the draft.
It is a wild decision. They gave Drew Lock $5 million
I'd pay $5 million for the first pick.
Yeah, as an NFL franchise, it's just
they brought in Drew Lock to compete, to actually help this team make the playoffs. In the case that Daniel Jones got injured,
right?
That they have a competent backup. They don't want a competent quarterback anymore.
Do they beat Tampa Bay next week?
No.
Do they beat Dallas in Dallas?
No.
New Orleans?
Maybe.
Maybe on the Dallas, but I'm going to guess no.
Probably not New Orleans. Probably not Baltimore.
Not the team risk.
Probably not Falcons. Probably not Colts. Probably not Philly. So, I guess we would have said that regardless of the quarterback.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Darnell Mooney left early with a hamstring injury.
Yeah. It was said this morning
flew
it's not
too close to the moon.
Yeah, it's not serious. So, his quote, "I'll be fine. My right leg was giving out on me a little bit. I'll be fine though."
Okay.
Is that related to the Achilles thing?
Who knows?
Okay.
Gabe Davis left early with a knee injury. This has been a pretty
standout wide receiver.
Yeah, that was the report. The report
Davis
literally said standout wide receiver Gabe Davis.
That report came from the agent.
Not to mention he can't stand right now.
I mean, you guys know the
concussion for Tajay Spears.
Well, just hold on. Because Ian Rappaport had tweeted out Jaguars standout wide receiver Gabe Davis. He's the one who gave him that superlative. But what do I see here if I keep reading it? Per me and Tom Pelissero, he's back to his tricks, guys. So, what is this guy doing?
Tom Pelissero is the one that built up Dalvin Cook?
Yes.
Maybe he's just like...
This dude is cashing checks.
He's doing exactly what you'd be doing, Mike.
Yeah. Does he have a list of superlatives the agents pay him to use?
Yeah. Hey, NFL.
What was Dalvin Cook referred to as? Superstar?
Yeah, like Pro Bowl Dalvin Cook. Look, NFL agents, my social media is available.
For sale. My social media is for sale.
If you need me to call some podunk guy a superstar standout, I will do it. I will break your news.
If I go into your bank account right now, you're telling me you don't got checks from Rico Dowdle right now?
No.
You don't got checks from Rico Dowdle in that bank account?
I don't. I do get a
That was pro bono?
You are Tom Pelissero of the Dowdles.
No, because, guys, I went I bought in. I got shares. I get 15%.
Oh, future contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he does get a contract from Dallas, your boy is out.
I just want to hear that some media personality does have a deal like that.
I'm looking for one.
Tajay Spears concussion, can't stay healthy. Alexander Mattison, Zamir White both hurt. That team's circling the drain. And that was today's news and notes presented by USAA Insurance. Learn more at USAA.com/insurance. We'll take a break. We'll hit the studs. All right, before we jump in the studs, I just wanted to take a quick inventory because sometimes, the people out there, they like to hear the rivalries. But Al Borland.
Speaking of studs.
Okay.
Wow, swish.
You and Jason had a matchup this weekend.
We
matchups.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for both of us because our two main leagues, the main Dynasty League and the League of Record,
squaring off.
We're squaring off, and I basically started selling at the trade deadline. My team is probably not going to win the championship here in the League of Record, so I sold. I'm looking to lose, get a better pick. Owl's team is very, very good, and we're the opposite in Dynasty. And I whooped him in the League of Record, got the win I didn't need, and he beat me in Dynasty, which I would do. Like we would both. Can we trade those losses and victories to each other?
As the commissioner of both leagues, co-commissioner of both leagues, I would let you do that for a first rounder in each league.
All right, but to you,
to me,
okay,
yeah.
I'll consider it.
A facilitation fee.
Have you guys ever gone into the fantasy platform, go into your trades, and see something, and you're like, "Holy crap! I love that trade. I got it," and then you're like, "Oh, I sent that."
Yes,
oh, really?
yes, I have done that.
I pulled this up. I'm like, "Hey, did anyone? I wonder if anything came in here for old T. Higgins." Like, something came in. Oh, I sent that off.
Yeah, that's perfect for me.
I was so excited to take this trade in the middle of the show.
The best one would be if you did that and you insult the trade Because you try to counter it because you don't like the value.
You try to get a little more. I'm going to counter this.
You would do that.
That legitimately happened 2 days ago.
Yes.
I was talking. So Jeremy and the biggest loser, Brian Ketron, they managed the League of Record team, and we were talking McCaffrey, and they had sent me an offer. I'm like, this is not good enough. And then Brian sent me a screenshot of an offer, and I was like, it was from months ago.
It was the same deal?
No, it was okay-ish. And I'm like, I would not have taken that at the time. And he's like, you sent that offer. And I'm like, oh, oops.
I would never do that. Never.
I am on a heater right now.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of our leagues, one last thing. What are the chances that CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson do not outscore Tank Dell by 4 points?
Wow. So CD and Ferguson.
The odds?
Yeah.
4%?
Yeah.
What league is this?
It's the listener league playing up against a dummy.
Oh, I thought that was straight up CeeDee Lambert. So he's got Ferguson too?
He's got Fergie and CeeDee Lamb. I got a 4-point lead.
Okay.
And my guy Tank Dell, go get it, Tank.
Yeah, you never know. Never know. Stranger things. All right, let's jump in.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
The number one quarterback on the week was Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
And this, the Lions just poured it on.
I mean, when you're up 40, you got to throw that ball.
They just kept throwing the football. Joe Burrow.
Did you guys ever play Papa Josh, I might need your help with this one, but there is a God of War. I think it's God of War 3, and you get to the end of the game, and you're just wailing on the big boss, but you don't know you're supposed to stop. Like the game, it's almost like this moral test of like, oh, I'm just gonna keep hitting this guy in the face.
You're supposed to show mercy.
Yeah, and then once you finally stop, then the game continues. That is what happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like the Lions, are like, is the fight still going? Are we still doing this?
Do you think it was a very Jags look like Tyson. Let's put it that way. And maybe Peterson's like, if you're gonna beat me, just kill me.
Yeah,
just put me out of my misery.
I am a little surprised we haven't got the announcement yet.
I keep checking. Why is Doug Peterson employed? I don't know.
Well, it never made sense to me that they would come out before a Lions game with a backup quarterback and say, if you don't beat the Lions, you're going to be fired. That just didn't make sense. That report never made sense to me. Maybe they'll fire him, but that report is outlandish to me. If you don't beat the number one team in football with your backup and no wideouts, you're fired.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a brutal
you should just say peace and skip the flight. Goff number one, Burrow last night turned it around. Amazing football game.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Bo Nix.
Oh, man,
who's
that kid is on fire.
Outstanding football. Anthony Richardson, hey.
Well. What do you do here?
Well, you
against Detroit coming up.
Yeah, you just acknowledge the fact that these are always possible in the NFL.
But it's not the rushing touchdowns. 20 for 30, guys.
272 passing yards with a passing touchdown.
For 30. He completed 67% of his passes with a 9.1 yards per attempt. Like
getting the W on the road against the Jets defenses. The Jets
they're garbage now.
I don't think their defense is a garbage defense. They're still, I think, a top half defense.
So to be fair to Mike's point, in the last 5 weeks, they are the fourth worst defense.
Yeah,
for quarterbacks.
Your fantasy points given up to quarterbacks. That's what you're
schedule adjusted. Yeah, so like they have been like they gave up 6 points above expectation to Drake May. They gave up 6 points above expectation to Russell Wilson. They have been.
Those are both ironic though when you look at schedule adjusted because you're comparing what they gave up to Drake May
points allowed. They gave up.
No, my point is the baseline was set by Jacoby Brissett as far as what the average is. It's not what you know what I'm saying. Like the team, that metric was set by Justin Fields and
right. But even if you go to points allowed per team. I'm saying if you go away from schedule adjusted,
it was 37
they're
points,
bottom 5.
37 points given up to the Steelers, 25 to the Patriots.
They've kind of given up hope.
Held the Texans to 13.
They shouldn't have hope.
31 to Cardinals, 28 to the Colts. Like their defense has imploded.
My perspective on Richardson is that you're not going to look at Richardson like the savior of your season. You know, he had to score 2. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns.
Like he's going to be on. He's going to be on a waiver wire decision for people.
Yeah, and he should be in the streaming category. He doesn't need to be an every week start because he has one good game.
Yeah, I mean, why Bo Nix is still on waivers in a lot of places. And if you're telling me I get to pick one of those 2 guys up, one of them is the quarterback 7 on the year, despite the first month of the season being really not good for fantasy. He's just been great.
Richardson has to play Detroit. He has to go to New England, go to Denver, face Tennessee. So the next 4 weeks are tough. And he was the number 4 quarterback in week 1 and then followed it with 22, 31, 31, 23, 25. So just, look, it's awesome. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the team. I'm happy that he could get it done. I'm happy that Josh Downs had a good game. I'm not happy for people that have Jonathan Taylor on the roster because there were 2 goal line opportunities that went to Anthony Richardson, which was the fear before the season began, and that's unfortunate because it's going to change the baseline for Taylor. But Bo Nix, incredible. He's the quarterback 7, 28 for 33, carved up Atlanta, 4 touchdowns. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch him play. And then Stafford was the 5th-ranked quarterback of the week.
Bo Nix has 5 more touchdowns than Jaden Daniels does so far on the season. And I think as the season comes to the end, right now it was like a runaway. Jaden Daniels is obviously going to be the offensive rookie of the year.
Doesn't feel that way.
It could very well be Bo Nix by the end of the season. If the Broncos keep winning and they become like a contending playoff, like no one wants to play them right now.
I feel like the best record between those 2 teams will be the rookie quarterback that gets it. Which the Commanders are the Commanders are a better record right now, but it's
Jaden Daniels is minus 400 for rookie of the year. Bo Nix is plus 300.
Jason,
well,
you want a little Bo Nix?
Bo Nix.
So Justin Herbert started the week. Started great, 297 and 2 though. Still a good fantasy day. Ran the ball a ton, 5 for 65.
That was fun.
And they won. They hang on, or they got it done. McConk. And Sam Darnold had a bounce back fantasy day as well. Top 5 running back scores. Saquon, after a week of being just thrown under the under the bus by Jason. Breece Hall, number 2 on the week.
Let me tell you something.
You don't deserve him.
No, he doesn't deserve to be in the studs. Okay? He does not deserve to be in the studs. 2 easy rushing touchdowns. He's probably going to stink the rest of the year. That's my guess. So I will not support you, Breece Hall, because it worked pretty darn well this last week.
Trying to run it back.
Okay.
That being said, he's on bye. So
David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Monty and Gibbs staying healthy and taking names. I mean, just every week.
Every week.
Goff scored 50, and Monty and Gibbs scored basically 20 each.
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. And when I say it was unbelievable, I'm talking about the season, not the game. The fact that 2 running backs for the same team cannot just like end the season good. That happens. That happens from time to time. You've got 2 running backs from the same team that at the end of the year, they're both top 24 backs. But every week, they're both good? That doesn't make sense.
No.
They both get a touchdown every week. Someone gets 2, someone gets 1. That's what it feels like. It's crazy that they can be that consistent. And that's where I think it's just the offensive line and the system they have. I don't know how anyone slows them down.
What's wild is that like it's not like Gibbs is the passing specialist. He has 23 receptions. That's like nothing.
There is no passing. The passing specialist is Amon-Ra.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. Right now, I'm seeing running back 5 for Gibbs, 10 for Monty. And
on the season?
On the season. Just insane. Both top 10 in fantasy points per game, 17.7 and 15.6. So pretty impressive. I mean, they're going to be keys to championships if they stay healthy. Josh Jacobs, your start of the week. Really got it done in the passing game.
Yeah, I love those targets.
4 for 58.
Let's keep doing that, Jordan.
A-Chan. Dobbins with the I'm not going down on the one. I'm going to actually just take it into the end zone.
Oh, that was
Shout out to JK.
The
Fantasy managers rejoice.
What do you do here with Dobbins? Because the game was weird. Like, they were deploying Hassan Haskins. Now, this is multiple weeks in a row that we have seen Haskins at the goal line. And, like, just JK not getting used a ton.
He was his lowest. It's his lowest attempt since week 1 for Dobbins.
Yeah, he only had 11.
Gus was
11
only at
rushing
6
attempts.
carries.
Yeah, Dobbins is a
That's
scary
so
start on a
weird.
team you like. You like the team. So you start him and you say, you know what, I'm going to just believe that he's going to have opportunities.
Schedule's pretty rough here.
Is
Baltimore, we'll see. Then Falcons, but Kansas City in week 14 and Denver in week 16.
Gus Edwards only had 6 carries in this game.
That makes it super weird.
Man, I would if your trade deadline is still open and you can unload Dobbins for something off of 2 touchdowns, I would certainly do it.
Might be time for that. James Cook, 2 touchdowns on the ground, just 20 rushing yards. And, you know, what can I say? They demolished the Chiefs.
They, I guess, by the rules of the score.
And I don't know how to feel.
Well, you know what? That 4th and 2 touchdown run by Allen was an iconic play for the year. Ended the game. Pretty cool. Chase Brown, 22 for 86, 5 for 57 through the air. Looks Eckler-like, electric, and Khalil Herbert's had 0 touches in the 2 games since he's arrived. So Brown is a workhorse.
And it's the receiving work. The receiving work is, I mean, that's unbelievably great. For what you said, Eckler, it's not just like he looks like him. He's being used like him. You're talking about in the last 3 weeks, 5 targets, 11 targets, 7 targets. Those are wide receiver numbers, and then it's not like they're not giving him 20-plus rushing attempts at the same time. I mean, this is like a top 5 back right now with how he's being utilized. He's going on bye, but coming out of the bye, I mean, you have to assume you've got a you know, we said last week what we thought he was going to be rest of season. I believe, Andy, you were the highest.
No, I was the highest at running back 6.
Running back 6. I think you were basically spot on.
He's got this full Joe Mixon Cincinnati volume.
The biggest challenge to me, and the reason I wanted Cincinnati to win the game, is my eye is on that the like motivation factor.
Yes,
and them winning. Like, if they run the table now, I think they can get to 10-7.
Yeah.
So it's still they're still motivated. They still need to, you know, they need to get it done. Chase Brown's RB5 since week 4, but I really wanted them to win so that they were in the mix.
This is based off of nothing other than just thinking about how a situation can play out and vibes. Remember when everyone was super scared about Jamar Chase holding out into the season? As we get to the end of the season and Jamar Chase, if I'm Jamar Chase and we're out of the playoffs, anything slight to my body, I am resting and I am recovering. And that is a little scary.
Just look to next week's game because 2 weeks from now, because they have a bye. But the Pittsburgh game, if they beat Pittsburgh at home, which is very doable in division, I mean, it's going to be hard, but they could do it. Then they get to play Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland, Denver at home, Pittsburgh in the year. Like, they could run the table.
They could.
But if they lose to Pittsburgh and they slip to, what would that be?
It'd be 4-8.
I mean, you're in trouble then. So, all right, where was I? Chase Brown, Javonte got the work, 9 for 59 and a touchdown. Don't try to figure this man out. Sean Payton lives to hurt you.
I mean, next week against the Raiders, you'd think that is a perfect matchup for him. So, whatever.
A perfect matchup for
who?
Like,
Javonte?
Well, what you want to do is you want to have
the,
Javonte and Estime on your roster, and then be very confident who you're starting. And then 1 minute before kickoff, switch.
Oh, I thought it was just listen to whatever Sean Payton says.
Do the opposite.
And then the other guy's going to get the work.
The problem is he said here's what he's done. He's said the same thing 3 weeks in a row.
Right.
He said it 2 weeks ago that Estime would get work. He didn't get work. He said it last week. He did, and he said it this week, and he didn't. It's like running back Mad Libs situation for Sean Payton, and it's driving me crazy. DeAndre Swift had a big play in this game, got into the end zone, and that made his day. So wide receiver starts. Amon-Ra St. Brown was just
Goodness gracious.
unreal. Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy.
Dude.
The downfield shots, we renamed Jameis Winston yesterday. Other quarterbacks, they got the check downs.
Yeah.
He's got the chuck downs. He
Yes.
just
It's so funny
last
because
resort, throw it deep.
it's like I think generally speaking, quarterbacks go high to low. You run that play action or whatever. You're looking for the deep shots, not there. You go into the mid range, it's not there. Check it down. And Jameis is the exact opposite. He's like, okay, let me go. I'm looking in the middle of the field. I'm looking for my check down. Oh, the pocket's collapsing. I better chuck it to the end zone. And I'm at my end zone. Like, I mean, it's just all the time when push comes to shove, he's like, I'll just throw it deep. And I love that. I love this man.
It was wild.
Chuck down.
The chuck down, baby.
But Jerry Jeudy had 11 targets, looked like his clear number one. When you watched him versus Cedric Tillman versus Elijah Moore, Jeudy just seems like he's establishing himself as what he should.
It might be the case. I mean, Tillman still had 8 targets.
Yeah.
And to me, Tillman looked like the clear one the previous 2 weeks.
That's fair.
Elijah Moore got in the end zone. I think you will see a rotation of good fortune on the deep ball for those 3. But it was, Judy's in the mix. 6 for 142. Give him credit.
Super fun because all 3 of these guys, at least in my opinion, all 3 of them you can play on a weekly basis. It's not always going to work, but it's like
I got Elijah Moore played against me yesterday, and it might beat me.
I mean, you've got – so Jerry Jeudy in the 3 games with Jameis has 8 targets, 11 targets, and 11 targets. He has 79 yards, 73 yards, and 142 yards. So it's not saying that you can't play Cedric Tillman, but you have to be starting Jerry Jeudy.
I mean, Tillman in that stretch is on target for 100, and he's on pace for 170 targets.
And Elijah Moore is on pace for 164.
Yeah,
Jerry Jeudy is on pace for 170 targets. Are you saying Tillman is on pace for 170 targets?
Yeah. And how many is Elijah?
164.
So 170, 170, 164.
Don't worry. Let's find out how much
chuck
Njoku.
Down, baby.
Njoku.
Yeah, figure out Njoku's.
278 targets.
I mean, wait, how many pass attempts does that mean Jameis is on pace for?
Njoku's on pace for 130 targets over those 3 games. Oh, my God.
So Jameis Winston's pass attempts over the last 2 games would put him on pace for 753.
No.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
If you're the Cleveland Browns, what are you going to do? Like Nick Chubb.
I don't think
Nick Chubb still doesn't have it.
He's not.
753
Why not throw it all the time?
attempts, 5,462 yards, and 34 touchdowns.
I very, very much
Jameis.
like to believe and do believe that he changes it into a pass at the line of scrimmage every play.
Okay. So
No matter what the call is. It's like, kill.
Yeah.
I feel good about
Jameis,
this. I got to chuck it.
There's 4 guys in the box.
there's no defensive line, Jameis. Kill.
Kill. I got a good plan here.
Don't worry. If something goes wrong, I'll just chuck down.
Oh,
Listen.
man. He is
Let's have the conversation.
a king.
Let's have the conversation about Jameis Winston because he's been the quarterback 6 and the quarterback 4 in 2 of the 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jameis Winston going to win people titles? His playoff weeks?
I think that's the schedule question because
it is.
You've got some rough stuff coming up. Pittsburgh, Denver, Pittsburgh, Kansas City. The next month is horrifically brutal. I mean, that's like as
Week
bad
16?
as it gets.
Give me that Week 16 matchup against the Bengals.
It's just something to pay attention to.
I'm in on that.
Juwan Jennings, Mike's start of the week, 10 for 91-1. We said also kind of a second-half winner. He is he's got a rapport with Brock Purdy.
And somehow he's their best wide receiver?
Yeah.
What is happening with Debo?
Debo's busy hitting his own long snapper.
Debo's
And that's like actually what happened.
right. Well, yeah, 2 weeks ago. But I still believe Debo Samuel is good. I don't think he has lost the ability to play football, but it's not getting it done, man.
Nick Westbrook-Akine had the 98-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I did mention him in that matchup as somebody to pay attention to because he's out there for every snap. I didn't see a 98-yard touchdown coming.
No.
But Ridley, 4 for 58.
With a huge touchdown callback on those. Oh, man, those illegal formations.
I realized
we got to keep cracking down.
I
guys.
realized
We're doing great work.
Most horrific about the illegal formations. It's that they let the play happen. It's so stupid that they let the play happen. I don't understand it. Like, if it's a false start, you call the play dead because nothing that happens on that play can count. So it's like you have all these plays that are brought back.
You're saying it should be like a false start.
Exactly.
They
do the same.
But
they
you do have to have the snap first.
That's fine.
Yeah,
but then as soon as it's the ball snapped, just blow the play dead. Why let us? Why?
I didn't know you were so into these penalties. For me, I just get rid of them. But I guess you want them still, but you just want them caught. Big ref, man.
I have been so clear on this. There is no such thing as an illegal formation to me unless it's on the other side of the football.
So dumb.
I don't give a
so dumb.
I would let you have 2 offensive linemen.
You would not.
I'd let the center catch the ball.
You're the guy who wants trampolines on the NBA court.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the same thing.
one spot. I also want a 10-point shot. I mean,
I want
rock
another
and jock.
I want another basket above the basket.
You're darn right. And put some celebrities in there. Yeah. Forgive me for wanting entertainment.
Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. You would have been a big fan of the, the Coliseum and the Gladiators.
Oh, man, I would have. I really would have.
You would have been like, you'd have season tickets to the
oh, man.
to the big events.
Sorry.
The big death match.
Yeah. Okay. Josh Downs got it done, got into the end zone. JSN got it done again, 11 targets, 10 for 110. So that's nice to see moving forward. It seems like maybe JSN is finally kind of settling in. Arizona, New York, Arizona coming up. JSN looks okay. All right, before we I guess we got tight ends here. Taysom freaking Hill.
Oh, my goodness.
37.5 points. Start of the week, Jonnu Smith, 25.1. Brock Bowers, 24.8. He had 16 targets. Yeah, you got nothing else you can do there.
I mean, he is so good. I think he's the best pass-catching tight end in the game. Like,
Jason asked me. Yeah, oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Better than Trey McBride and Kittle and Kelsey. And I mean, he is the best. He's so good.
Noah Gray upsetting the Kelsey manager, 16.3. Quick, really quick. But Noah Gray in a dynasty if you're the Kelsey manager. Are you interested?
I'm not opposed to it.
Do you think he'll be next man up?
I mean,
I think he'll. I don't think he'll ever. I mean, you're just not going to be able to become Travis Kelsey just because you've got the role. Even if Kelsey retires,
it's like searching for Gronk.
The next Gronk. Yeah.
What was that guy?
Oh, we went through we went through a million there.
There was.
I know who you're talking about.
Kyle,
he was a free agent. He was an undrafted free agent tight end that they had in camp.
Patriots tight end,
and everybody lost their mind about him. Because I think he scored in week 1. Kyle, do you remember this name?
Come on, Kyle.
I can't read your mind.
In the meantime, Kyle, you can think about this.
Like years ago when we were when Gronk was gone.
Read our mind, Kyle.
When was Gronk's last year?
I'll figure this out.
By the way, Jason.
So this would have been 2019 Patriots.
Ask me, Jason, who finished as the tight end 5.
Yeah,
who finished as the tight end 5? Oh, baby! Will Disley will not die. Because he's Montana strong. Big Montana, baby.
Getting it done. 4 for 80.
I still
He's
can't
big.
believe it.
He's strong.
Yeah, there were a bunch of, beyond him, Mike, there were a bunch of New England tight ends. Everybody wanted to be the next Hernandez-Gronk combination. No, it wasn't Ben Watson. No, it wasn't Ozzy. No, it wasn't. Everyone's searching for it.
See, Andy knows who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. It
wasn't Ben Watson?
He was
No,
a preseason
I think he had the long
sensation.
hair.
Yes. Huh. The entire world will find this and post it on Twitter if we don't find it. All right. Ertz got it done, by the way. Garbage time. Njoku as well. We'll take a break. We'll hit the duds. All righty. Let's jump in.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
All right. Russell Wilson, guys.
Dude. Oh, Russ.
Oh, that was, I mean,
Russ.
The most disappointing start that I can remember because everyone started him.
Yeah.
Everyone everywhere. I mean, we all three had him in our DraftKings lineup. Started him. I started him in I think our listener league or somewhere like that. There were a lot of reasons to start him, and it became we talked about the wide range because you have two good defenses. You have the divisional matchup that, sometimes can just be a slugfest. There was also the outcome, the high-end, high-scoring affair, but it didn't happen. Lamar Jackson and Russell, they both
it division gamed us, where we didn't get the high-flying. It was slogfest.
So, that made Lamar and Russ a problem. Jaden Daniels this week disappointed a lot of people. Kirk Cousins, they couldn't get anything going against Denver at all. That was a blowout. I object to Patrick Mahomes being here. Is this because of the turnovers? I mean, he had 3 touchdowns.
Zach Sudfeld.
That's it.
Yes.
That was it.
I've
That
been
was
this
it.
entire time.
That was it.
I haven't listened to a single thing you guys have said.
No, I know you haven't because I've been trying to tease
barely
out
been
some
able to-
conversations.
Zach Sudfeld.
Yeah, I remember it.
There
Thank
we go.
you, Mike.
Oh, that's a big relief.
I mean, our Slack
It's
channel,
the
right?
hair.
I was going to die.
Our Slack channel right now is filled with Ben Watson, Chase Winovich, Matt Lacoste, Ryan
Andrew
Izzo,
Beck.
Dalton Keene, Jacob Hollister,
Zach.
Eric Tomlinson. We're just like, no. Andrew Beck,
remember
no.
Shanti Shanko?
Yeah.
What if Cade Otton goes to the Chiefs next year? Because we were talking like he's going to go get a bag of money from
I don't think they'll give him a bag of money.
Well, they don't have a lot of money, but
Well, I'm saying, I think Kelsey's he probably tries to play again next year.
So listen, Patrick Mahomes had a great game.
Yeah.
He's not a dud. 203 is a great game. Running backs, Jason, you kind of flipped it. You've been all about Bijan is great, and Breece Hall struggles, and now they flipped this week.
Yeah,
you can't get them both on the same week.
It is frustrating having those two in tandem, but this game was shocking. Like Denver annihilated the Falcons. They controlled the time of possession. They had the ball. Atlanta could do nothing. I'm going to chalk this one up to Denver's defense at home being just the better team. Going forward, you've got Bijan going into a bye week, then the Chargers, Minnesota. Those are pretty tough matchups. So we're going to see what the Falcons are made of. They've got to regroup here from a butt whooping and come back strong, or show that they're not the team that has, Super Bowl aspirations.
Jonathan Taylor, 24 carries, just 57 yards on those 24 carries. No touchdowns, only 1 reception. What is the inventory, or what is the temperature check, Mike, on Taylor to you, seeing, the last couple of weeks?
I still think he's a top 12 play.
Detroit will be tough next week.
Yeah, that will be very tough.
Yeah, I mean, the issue we had with Jonathan Taylor, when they made the transition to Flacco, I went out and traded hard for Jonathan Taylor, thinking he could be the #1 quarterback with the checkdowns because he can pass catch and the touchdown opportunities. Those were the two things with Anthony Richardson there, where it was like we didn't see Jonathan Taylor as having a top 3 running back range of outcome because you're not going to get a bunch of passing work. He didn't. He won't with Anthony Richardson, and you will have some goal line opportunities stolen from you. He had 2 this last week. So, yeah, I would agree. He's like running back 10 to 12.
Let me ask you, are you worried about these names, okay? I think this one's a layup for you, but it appears maybe Raheem Mostert's time is over. I mean, 3 for -2 on the ground, no targets. Jalen Wright's getting worked in. Mostert, honestly, when I saw him briefly, he looked slow. Is it done? Is it over with?
Yeah, I don't think Mostert will ever have time in the sun again.
20 touchdowns last year.
It's a weird place.
Well, but that's also
and it went.
That's also the Dolphins. The Dolphins last year were a high-powered offense. They're not. They're figured out. That whatever it is, the defenses that they're showing them, they will not throw the ball down the field. You brought it up, Andy. You're like, when's the last time? And in this last game,
Jonnu with no one around him.
I was going to say there was one deep throw that I remember, and it was the Jonnu Smith wide open broken coverage play.
Everything is underneath. Everything is screen passes, into rounds to Malik Washington. Tyreek, I think I said if he doesn't score 15 points, I'm going to lose my mind. He scored 15.6.
Woo, your mind is safe.
My mind is safe. Are you worried? Let's continue the journey. Let's move to 2 running backs in horrible offensive situations right now that feel like they're heading towards top #1 picks. Tony Pollard and Travis Etienne. Both of those teams, it's the same recipe every week. It's last man standing in the backfield. Spears is hurt again. It's we're down by 1 million points again, and it's we can't catch up because we don't have a quarterback.
Well, Pollard, I'm much less worried about. The matchup,
he was 9 for 15 this week.
The matchup against Minnesota was very predictably difficult. Granted, same for Travis Etienne with the Detroit Lions, but I think that the team still wants to use Pollard, and they've got their quarterback in tow. Like, I have no idea what the Jacksonville Jaguars' future is. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to play again this year, if he's going to get surgery, if he's going to be back right after the bye. We just don't know, and that, to me, changes everything for Travis Etienne. So I'm more confident in Pollard, who's also just looked better this year in the opportunities he's had. Down week, yeah, but he's had a lot of good-looking runs. Travis Etienne has looked like a bad running back.
This is the number 1 and number 2 pick right now, by the way, Jacksonville, Tennessee. If I wanted to take the argument the other side, it would be that there is no outcome in which Tennessee upgrades their quarterback. There is an outcome where Trevor Lawrence is back and Etienne's the main back.
Oh, you mean this season?
Right after the bye. I just mean like
yeah.
the Tennessee prescription for the rest of the season seems to be the same thing. Pollard has had better games this year, no question.
I'm been searching, trying to find what it was, but like Pollard, I mean, if you've been watching the Titans play, Pollard has taken some really nasty hits of where you're like, oh, I'm sure that Tony Pollard he's out. Like, he's going to be out of the game. And then he misses a few plays and comes back. But he was listed on the injury. I thought he was on the injury report for practice for something. He's, I mean, not hurt enough that they're giving him a designation. But I'm curious if that. Oh yeah, Brooks is saying it was a foot injury. So I'm curious if that is what the case is right now. So and bringing that up of as he recovers, it could get better, and he's got some good matchups coming up.
Okay. Kareem Hunt, 14 for 60, didn't score.
No. 2 carries inside the 5. He didn't get it done, and Isaiah Pacheco is looming.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be worried about Kareem Hunt. Pacheco could be back this week.
Aaron Jones, 15 for 39. I don't think he quite looked himself. We knew he was dealing with the rib injury. Maybe that was a little bit of hesitancy. Audric Estime was the what's behind door number 2? Nothing. There's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
6 for 16.
Hungry.
People spent a lot on fab for him.
Yeah.
Thinking they had a starter rest of season. Sean Payton said, nah.
Psych.
And you can't blame Payton. They blew him out.
He loves to use lots of different players. You know, Marvin
Oh,
Mims.
my gosh. I was bragging to Jason that Marvin Mims got into the end zone to make – it brought him within a few points of Troy Franklin for our epic Franklin Mims bet.
Yes.
And I'm bragging about it. I'm like, Mims getting it done.
And
They
then,
run the same play that they ran for Mims to Franklin later in the game, and he scored 2.
Yeah. Hey, it's Franklin.
Well, both guys, those two, only have a purpose in our bets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, 1 for 10.
2 targets.
I did bring up the fact that
Yeah.
the Philadelphia secondary right now against number 1 is dominant. Garrett Wilson, this was one where Adams had a much better game than Wilson did. Okay. This team is – I can't tell you how much I hate them.
Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers
And I give him
shaking his head after everything.
like he doesn't know what happened.
He's just looking for whose fault it is, and he knows that it ain't his. And I am here for these losses.
He had his time. I don't know if you're a Jets fan what you want to happen. The Jets are in the top 7 in the draft right now. He's got a lower winning percentage than Darnold and Wilson ever had with the Jets. They fired the head coach.
They've done
it
every
feels like
transaction.
everything should be stripped down and rebuilt.
Every transaction has been managed by Aaron Rodgers. He has got the players he wanted. You want to trade for this player.
You want
want
Lazard.
to sign
You want
that
Cobb.
player.
You want Adams.
We are saying yes to every single thing he requests, and you are a bad football team.
Do you think he's back next year? Because he's got like $23 million worth of incentive to come back.
I think he's back next year.
I think he's back too. Which
that'll be the year.
Oh,
You're 42.
it's gonna happen.
No, but like if they can manage to move up a little bit here in the draft, I'm not locked in with the quarterback class of 2025. But if you can have Rodgers there, draft a rookie really, really high, and then just actually let that rookie sit, and look, Rodgers still knows football. He can't do what he used to do.
The problem is if you have this record again next year, that rookie ain't sitting.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
They
won't get to, they'll be doing the same thing.
But at least half a year. Like
You think Rodgers is going to let them draft a rookie and play? No chance. He's in charge here.
Okay. I think if they move up, they'll take a quarterback.
Debo 4 for 22. He is basically an outright bust this year. I mean, he's had 4 games that you would have been happy to have played him. 1 elite game. He was the wide receiver 14 off the board. What is he sitting at? 36 right now?
Yeah, in 9 games.
So, it doesn't seem like the way this offense is functioning with the return of Christian McCaffrey, with what Kittle has been this year, with Juwan Jennings, like the beginning of the end of Debo in San Francisco seems to be in front.
Really? You think it's that?
I do. I not that Debo can't play, but that the team is – this is not Debo's team anymore. And
not in Juwan Jennings' house.
I mean, Ayuk's going to be back. Pearsall is there. Kittle is there. And Debo was already a trade candidate this offseason. And then you pay Ayuk, which was it's like if you pay Ayuk, you're not getting Debo anyways. It's like, and then the frustration and the team going sideways and I just feel like the vibes right now on Debo is that it's not that he can't have a good game. It's just that maybe this is the end for Debo in San Francisco.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, he's a cut candidate this offseason, but as far as fantasy performance rest of season, does he get his act together, have big games, have big performances, or not? That's the thing that we have to decide, because right now he's been a bust, but he's still had big games this year.
No, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it going.
Really?
No, he probably. I would say 2 more good games. Whatever that means. I mean, maybe it ends up being
it's
in your playoffs.
Trying to just be
the Rams game,
being a box score detective here. The season started well. 2 good games, 16 points, 14 points. Misses the game with injury. Then the next 2 games right off of the injury they're subpar. Has the elite game against Seattle. Gets hurt the next week. So I'm maybe it's just injuries, but the fact that George Kittle was out yesterday and you didn't get just anything good from Debo is pretty concerning.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a weird one. He had a really elite run last season for 4 games in the middle of the year, but it was pretty spotty before and after that. And like that's kind of Debo's archetype is going to be some spotty games where you know
he's not an 11, 12, 13 target type of player on the Reg. He's a get 3 handoffs and have big giant plays.
Yeah, the play action across the middle. If he breaks that one for a touchdown, it's a great game. If
his career is like the fantasy nerds, we think way higher of Debo than probably most people. Of he's had 2 awesome fantasy seasons, and then everything else from him has just been pretty good. So
mostly injured.
I don't know if we value him. You mean compared to the NFL?
Yeah,
I think the NFL probably values him higher than we do. But it's spotty. He's going to make his mark on the game, and it might not always be in fantasy too. It's tough. Devontae Smith 4 for 29. Jalen Waddle is Waddle? A lot of people asked me whether they could cut him this week, and I was like, I'm not trying to cut Waddle, but I'm definitely willing to cut Waddle. And now at this point, if we're slightly disappointed in Tyreek Hill, how in the world do we get a pathway to Waddle?
Let me read you his fantasy points since week 2: 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 6, 6, 7, 4. I mean,
that's unplayable.
No,
that's wide receiver 61.
It's really unrosterable.
No, that's not
which
rosterable.
Is crazy because it's Jalen Waddle
with Tua. If you had to flex Jonnu Smith or Waddle, you're flexing Jonnu Smith every week.
I mean,
it would be the right choice.
You have to now. It's
you'd
crazy.
be flexing Jalen Wright probably over Waddle.
Yeah,
in hopes of something happening.
I mean, right now, Jalen Warren even.
Oh.
And he can't even get 10 points a game.
I know, but he's still getting a lot more than Waddle.
Waddle can't get to 7.2.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, 4 for 28.
Very disappointing.
And then Amari Cooper, 2 for a delicious. You know, the problem and the reason I traded Cooper everywhere I had him is not that Cooper's good or bad. It's that the team has a way of winning games and just spreading the ball around, and then all of a sudden Allen's running the football, and it's Samuel, and it's Hollins, and it's Coleman, and it's Cook, and it's Davis, and it's Kincaid, and it's Knox, and it's just going to keep going, and Cooper's going to have a big play here or there, but they don't need to treat him like Diggs. So Cooper is a scary start here on out.
Sure.
And we already know that they don't like total passing opportunities, it's down. And then tight ends, it was a struggle this week. Struggle bus, big time.
It was. You had a lot of guys. Hawkinson had a down week who I talked up. Mark Andrews, who had been on fire, stunk. Travis Kelce was awful.
2 catches for each of those 3 guys. Tucker Kraft, though.
Yeah.
Full goose. Kyle Pitts, 1 catch. Evan Ingram, 5 for 28.
Yeah, 7 targets, 28 yards. I mean, I think that's what you're going to get. If you don't get Trevor Lawrence back, Evan Ingram is not – he's going to have targets and still might not be someone that you should be starting over other options.
I mean, it's crazy, those names, and then you look and you say, you know, Taysom Hill, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Both Taysom Hill and Jonnu Smith in our league of record hit waiver wire 5 minutes before game started. No, people dropped them.
Yeah, the only Brock
Disley
Bowers,
and Gray and –
of the like normal – I'm playing this guy every single week. Brock Bowers is the only top 5.
Yeah. So, all right, that is the end of Studs and Duds on today's show. Waivers tomorrow, streaming quarterback options, also on tomorrow's show. And we'll get into Hungry for More on Wednesday and bring you all the news and everything going on in fantasy. Try to get you primed up for Week 12. Enjoy the game tonight. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon. Let's get it done, Houston. Let's not have a down game against a good opponent, all right?
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.